CKSP 600 AM ਸ਼ੇਰੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਰੇਡੀਓ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਔਰ ਮੈਂ ਹਸਮੀਰ ਕੌਸ਼ਲ। ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਮੈਂ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਖਾਸ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਸ਼ਾਮਿਲ ਹੋਣੇ ਔਰ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਵੀ ਖਾਸ ਨੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਜੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜੌਬ ਹੈ, ਜੋ ਇਹ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਰੋਜ਼ਮर्रा ਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਜੁੜੀਆਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ। ਪਬਲਿਕ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦਾ, ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਦੀ, ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਸੂਬੇ ਦੀ ਆਰਟਰੀ ਮੰਨੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਆਉਣਾ ਜਾਣਾ ਸੜਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ, ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਟ੍ਰੈਫਿਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਜ਼ਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੇ, ਇੱਕ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤੋਂ ਦੂਜੀ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਜਾਣ ਨੂੰ ਟਾਈਮ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ। ਸੋ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਟਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਰੋਲ ਅਦਾ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਔਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਮੁਲਕ ਦੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਕੋਨਮੀ ਦੇਖਣੀ ਹੋਏ, ਉਸ ਮੁਲਕ ਦੇ ਫੈਸਿਲਿਟੀਜ਼ ਦੇਖਣੀਆਂ ਹੋਣ, ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਉਹਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਦੇਖੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਕੁ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਐਡਵਾਂਸ ਹੈ, ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦੀ ਹੈ। ਔਰ ਕਈ ਮੁਲਕ ਅਜਿਹੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਐਗਜ਼ੈਂਪਲ ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਇੱਕ ਅਜਿਹੀ ਐਗਜ਼ੈਂਪਲ ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਾਰੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਦੀ ਹੈ। ਔਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਔਰ ਖ਼ਾਸ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ BC ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਟਰਾਂਸਲਿੰਕ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਅਜਿਹਾ ਹੀ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਟਰਾਂਸਲਿੰਕ ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟ ਦੇ ਮੋਡਸ ਨੇ, ਮੀਡੀਅਮਸ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਮੁਹੱਈਆ ਕਰਾਏ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ। ਔਰ ਸਮੇਂ-ਸਮੇਂ 'ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਾਰ ਅਜਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਕਈ ਦਿਨ ਅਜਿਹੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਜਿਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਡਿਸਕਾਊਂਟਡ ਫੇਅਰਸ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਸੀਨੀਅਰਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਅਲੱਗ ਹੈ, ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਅਲੱਗ ਹੈ। ਬਹੁਤ ਥਾਵਾਂ 'ਤੇ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਦਿਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦੋਂ ਫਰੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਚਲਾ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਲੌਂਗ ਟਾਈਮਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਦੇ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ। ਔਰ ਆਮ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਫੀਡਬੈਕ ਵੀ ਲਈ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਭਾਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦੀ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਕੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੱਸਿਸ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਕਿਹੜੇ ਏਰੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਕਿੱਥੇ ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਮੱਸਿਆਵਾਂ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਾਤਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਯੂਨੀਅਨ ਮੈਂਬਰਸ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਵੀ ਸੁਣੀਏ। ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਆਮ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਗੱਲ ਸੁਣੀਏ। ਪਰ ਅੱਛਾ ਉਦੋਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਕੰਪਨੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹਾਈ ਰੈਂਕ ਦੇ ਆਫੀਸ਼ੀਅਲਸ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਆ ਕੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ। ਔਰ ਮੇਰੇ ਖਿਆਲ ਨਾਲ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਉੱਪਰ ਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਆਫੀਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅੱਜ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ। ਟਰਾਂਸਲਿੰਕ ਦੇ CEO ਮਿਸਟਰ ਕੈਵਨ ਬੀ ਕੁਇਨ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਸ਼ਾਮਿਲ ਨੇ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਗੁੱਡ ਮਾਰਨਿੰਗ ਕੈਵਨ, ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਮਚ ਫॉर joining us in this early morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
And let me just clear my my listeners. Some of them, they must aware with this fact that there is a Kevin Quinn, American actor as well. So you are not an American actor, right? So Kevin, first of all, tell our listeners about the work of Translink, its fleet, the manpower, and the financial health of Translink, how you are getting the revenues and the ridership as well.
Sure. Wow, that's a big question. So, at Translink, well, first, I want to wish you and your listeners happy Vaisakhi.
Thank you.
And, we've been really excited to participate in a couple of parades. We have...
I have a question for that. I'm saving that question.
Okay, I'll hold on that. But... so Translink, we're a big organization. We're the transportation provider for the region, and it includes all the bus service, the SkyTrain service, West Coast Express, the C-Bus, and our Handy Dart service. And so our organization has about 8,000 employees, and we're divided. It gets kind of confusing. We're divided into a couple operating companies. There's the Coast Mountain Bus Company that operates the bus and the C-Bus. We have British Columbia Rapid Transit Company, which is the SkyTrain, and the West Coast Express. And so it can get a little confusing. But what your listeners need to know, it's all Translink. It's one Compass card. You pay for it in one way. And so we try to make it as seamless as possible for our riders, despite sort of all these different units that we have. In terms of how things are going, really quite well. We're leading North America in ridership recovery. We're right around 82 to 84% on any given day of ridership recovery compared to pre-pandemic levels. That's pretty incredible. And it is, again, leading North America. A lot of our focus right now is being sure that we're able to provide service for our riders today, right? So we're seeing just tremendous levels of ridership increase, especially south of the Fraser, where a lot of our efforts are how to be nimble, how to adjust service to meet the demand that's out there given the resources that we have. So we're constantly sort of adjusting and tweaking things because, quite honestly, the pandemic really dramatically changed everyone's travel patterns. And so we're still adjusting to that today. So, part of what we're focused on is providing service today. We're also doing a lot of planning for the future and being sure that we're set up to deliver the projects of the future.
ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਰੋਤਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਦਿਆਂ ਕਿ ਕੈਵਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਦੋਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਕਰਨ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਫਿਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੋਡ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟ ਦਾ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹੋ? ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਾਰ ਡਰਾਈਵ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋ? ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ, ਮੈਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਰ ਰੋਜ਼ ਸਕਾਈ ਟ੍ਰੇਨ ਔਰ ਬੱਸ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਹੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਫਿਸ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਇੱਕ ਲੀਡਰ ਦੀ ਇਹ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਖੁਦ ਐਗਜ਼ੈਂਪਲ ਸੈੱਟ ਕਰੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਟਾਫ ਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ ਔਰ ਸੂਬੇ ਦੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ, ਰੀਜਨ ਦੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ, ਕਿ ਦੇਖੋ ਖੁਦ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਹੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰੋਂ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਵਿਚ ਇਜ਼ ਵੈਰੀ ਗੁੱਡ। ਸਾਡੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਉਣ ਨੂੰ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਔਖਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਉਣਾ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆਮ ਵੈਰੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਕਹਿਣ 'ਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਾਣ ਵੀ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਟਾਫ ਦੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਮੈਂਬਰਸ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਸਵੇਰੇ। ਆਸ਼ਿਆ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਵੀਰਪਾਲ ਕੌਰ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਪੱਲਵੀ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਵਿਚ ਇਜ਼ ਵੈਰੀ ਗੁੱਡ। ਆਈ ਮੀਨ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੋਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ। ਇਨਫੈਕਟ ਮੇਰੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਵੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਬੱਸ ਸਟਾਪ ਹੈ, ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਡਾਊਨਟਾਊਨ ਜਾਣਾ ਤਾਂ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟ ਹੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਈਏ। ਆਈ ਵਾਜ਼ ਜਸਟ explaining my listeners about the way you go to your office every day by taking the transit. Definitely we're going to talk about some good things, but first there's a very it's a burning topic right now in Canada, I should say. How would you like to address the recent violent incident that happened in public transit, and how would you like to ensure the safety of your passengers and staffers?
Sure. So, I'll just say right off the bat that every single one of our riders has the right to be safe on transit. Every one of our employees has the right to be safe on transit. And I'll just say, as both the CEO of Translink and as a father of 2 kids who take transit to school every single day, those incidents, especially the fatality of that young man, hit me hard, hit our Translink employees really hard, and I can only imagine what that family's going through. And our the condolences, go out to that family from the whole Translink family. What we've done in response is we've taken this seriously. Our safety is our top priority for our customers, and we've done things like increasing our police patrols. So we've taken some of our units and put them out on the system. So most people may not know that Translink is the only transit system in Canada with its own dedicated police force.
The transit police.
Transit police, that's right. So we have 184 transit police officers that are out and about on the system every single day. We also have a transit security group, and we also have our SkyTrain attendants. And we've increased the presence and the numbers of both police, transit security, and our SkyTrain attendants all throughout the system. I also want to add that we are going to be adding 24 new community safety officers to the system. So that was something that we announced several months ago. We're in recruitment right now. And actually, if any of your listeners would like to join as one of our community safety officers, we'd be happy to talk to them. They should reach out to us. But that's a great opportunity to get new officers, additional presence out on the system to deal with a lot of the incidents that we're seeing. So we're seeing a pretty significant increase in mental health incidents throughout the system.
Absolutely, because these kind of violent incidents are very rare.
Yes.
I mean, we haven't seen in last couple of years, we haven't seen this kind of violent incidents.
That's right.
So mental health is the biggest issue right now, which different cities are talking about and the province is talking about. So how Translink can help in this issue?
Yeah. So, it's interesting because we've seen a decrease in actual crime out on the system. We've seen a 21% decrease in crime year over year. We've seen a 13% increase in mental health incidents. And so, we're tackling it in a couple different ways. One is the CSO program that I noted of folks that are trained in de-escalation and working with folks with mental illnesses. A second piece of that, though, is really ensuring that our riders know the tools that are out there for them. And so we're trying to be sure that everyone knows about the text line that they can text to police, 877777, that puts them immediately in touch with a police officer who can gather questions and really help to address the incident at that time. The fact is that we can't have a police officer on every single bus at every single SkyTrain. In peak hours, we have 1,100 buses out on the system. And if you take the sheer number of stations, of buses, of SkyTrains, we would need to hire thousands of police officers, and the resources aren't there to do it. So the best, what we're trying to do is be sure our riders know what resources are available to them and know that this is our top priority right now.
But all your buses are equipped with those surveillance cameras and some other safety features?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So our operators have a silent alarm that's available to them when incidents occur. We have live radios on the system, GPS on the buses. Our operators have those barriers that are out there. And again, every single one of our riders has that text line available to them as well to text live with a police dispatcher if they feel unsafe.
So is there going to be some new kind of training as well involved in the future to tackle this kind of incident?
Yeah, so whether it's teaming up with some of our mental health providers that are out there to give training to our police officers already receive that training. But with this increase in mental health incidents, we know that all of our staff really need to be sure they have as much training as possible on how to work with individuals facing a lot of mental illness that's out there right now.
I think for the resources, you need a lot of money as well to invest in those resources, right? So are you seeking any kind of help from the federal or from the provincial or UBCM maybe?
Yeah, so we are always in touch with the province. They've really kind of said to us, we're here to work with you. And we're exploring sort of all ways that we can increase and improve safety throughout the system. And so I think folks can expect to see additional push of those resources, that tool, that text line. They're going to see additional presence out in the stations, more people out there. We know that people want to feel safe. I want people to feel safe. And we're absolutely committed to providing, those resources so people feel safe.
You're talking about some future plannings of Translink.
Yeah.
What kind of future plannings are we going to see? More Translink? I mean, the more SkyTrains in the region, or more buses?
Yeah. Well, we know the region's growing at a very fast rate, right? And the projections are showing that this region will be getting 50,000 new residents every single year for the next 30 years. That's incredible. That's an incredible amount of people. And so we've got to get ready for that. So, a few things. We do have our Broadway subway project. The province has Broadway subway project under construction. The Surrey-Langley SkyTrain will begin construction in 2024. And that's going to be to really meet the needs that we are seeing, especially south of the Fraser in Surrey, because we're seeing ridership grow at a pretty alarming rate. So, since the beginning of the pandemic, south of the Fraser, ridership has come back faster than any other part of the Metro Vancouver region. As a result, we've actually increased service 12%.
Who is your rider? Who is your rider if we go with the age category? Who are your biggest, the highest number of riders?
What age group?
From age group.
I'm not quite sure. The fact is, when I'm out on transit, I see people of all ages.
Why I'm asking you this? Because there are certain, feedback from the general public that people want to see more buses directly, or more, ways of transport directly to the universities or to the different campuses. How you would, ensure this thing, or how you will react to this feedback?
Yeah, so I think what you've identified is something that we've been saying loud and clear, which is that our system is not prepared today to expand and provide the types of services that we need to. We have really limited resources today. And so we need to be thinking about the future. And that's why with our board and our mayor's council, we developed our 10-year priorities, which is our $20 billion unfunded plan to expand transit in this region and start to provide those types of services that we know a very growing region absolutely needs.
So, but as far as the revenue of Translink is concerned, as you said, 82 to 84% recovery, we are on the recovery path. So that means the revenue is going quite good right now?
Well, right now,
and what are the revenue modes Translink have? Is it just only the ticket collection, or is there something else like advertisement from the buses? Something other? Things?
So we do collect some revenue from advertising, things like that, but our revenue comes from really three main places. So one is a property tax. So we do collect funds from property tax. The second piece is the fuel tax. So we collect 18.5 cents per liter on the fuel tax. An interesting kind of part of that is that as fuel prices go up, I think people think that we are bringing in more money. And in fact, people buy less fuel when fuel goes up, and we actually bring in less money. So we actually don't like it when the fuel goes up.
So you want people to drive cars?
I know, right? It's a funny paradox.
It's a contradiction.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Well, you've pointed out a great contradiction in our funding model that we need to think through. That third piece is fares through our riders. So through those three ways. But I will say that, while that was a stable and predictable funding model for us for decades, and has been for transportation authorities all throughout North America for decades, the pandemic really kind of threw that for a loop, right? Ridership dramatically decreased. We know that cars are out there becoming more fuel efficient. There's more electric vehicles out on the road. And as a result, that's a declining revenue source. And so how are we going to tackle that? And so those are the big questions right now. We're working with our federal and our provincial partners to figure out what that new funding model is going to be, because we know this is a growing region. We have to start treating transit like a utility. We are transit is a must-have for the region. This is not a nice-to-have. We know this region's growing quickly. We must have good transit.
Kevin, I know you are very busy and you have to go to some other radio stations as well. But I have a couple of more questions.
Sure.
How you distribute your services in different cities? Is that according to the tax collection which you are getting from the different cities, or is this according to the population?
Yeah, so I'd say it's according to population and the needs that we see. So we do a study.
Because remote areas, they are suffering from the public transit as well. They want, more transit. I mean, I know there are certain areas which Translink is not, entitled to go over there. But I think there are certain areas where people want more buses, where people need more public transport.
Yeah, we take a real data-driven approach, and we take a look at where people are living and where people are going, and we base our system on that. We take a look at things like overcrowding. Where are we seeing overcrowding? Again, Surrey's a great example of where we've added service. 12% more service than before the pandemic, in addition to investing in things like the Surrey-Langley SkyTrain and the R6 Rapid Bus.
The Rapid Bus from
which we've just
Scott
announced
Road,
as well, right? So we're doing our best with, again, the resources that we have, the budget that we have today, to get those services out there, because we know this area is growing.
And what are your plans to increase the ridership? I mean, how you are interacting with people, or are you going to the stakeholders to create this interest that people should come out and take the transit?
So I think what we've seen with the ridership recovery is that the interest is really there. And what we've seen in this region is sort of a if you build it, they will come type of an approach. If we put the transit out there, people ride it. I think for our part, it's, whenever we do public engagement, we go out and we talk to riders, what we hear loud and clear is that people want solutions now. They want solutions today. They can't wait 2 decades for another SkyTrain line to be built. And that's why our 10-year priorities really focuses with a bus-first approach that we can roll out quickly, get services out quickly. We know people need solutions. They need good transit, and they need it today.
My last question. We saw a bus wrapped with the very vibrant colors, beautiful bus with the Vaisakhi message as well. Yeah. So it was really a very thoughtful idea. Whose idea was that? And now you can give your Vaisakhi message. You're open for that.
Yeah, so again, happy Vaisakhi. And I think for our part, at Translink, we're trying to do a lot more outreach and talk to those communities that are out there on transit and supporting us. And participating in the parade, decorating a beautiful bus, participating in the Vaisakhi parade is just one way that we can do that. And so we want to continue that partnership.
And definitely, I think we're gonna love to see more buses. Maybe for some other communities as well. Maybe on China's New Year. Maybe on Ramadan. Maybe on Diwali as well.
Yeah.
That's I think it's going to be a very good and inclusive way to take all the communities, with the Translink. What message would you like to deliver to our listeners, to your riders, those who are listening to you right now?
Sure. So I guess first and foremost, I'll come back to the safety piece. Safety is our top priority, and I want our riders to know that transit is safe. We have 400,000 people on our system every day. About 150,000 of those 400 are coming from south of the Fraser, right? So this area represents a huge proportion of our ridership, almost half of our ridership every single day. Yeah. And for the vast, vast majority of those trips, 99.999% of those trips, it is safe and it is reliable every single day. And so we do have a safe transit system. People should feel safe riding about it, and they should know that safety is our top priority.
That's great. Thank you so much, Kevin, and we really appreciate your, concern towards safety first of all, and you are taking from whatever we have discussed over here. I know that you have so many plans, and we wish you all the very best for all those plans. Thank you so much for visiting us.
Thank you so much for having me.